Okay, well today I picked up an RCA 25-inch commercial television, and I got this on Facebook Marketplace for the grand total of 60 bucks. Now 60 bucks might seem like a lot for a retro, tube like this, but there's two more on Facebook Marketplace. One of them, they're both 25-inch tubes, but one of them is the grand total of free, and the second one is a grand total of $10. Now, of course, those two people never responded to me. The only person that responded to me when I messaged him was for this one for 60 bucks. So for 60 bucks, I said, absolutely, I'll take it. And I'm going to turn it around and show the model number here shortly. But first, let's turn it on and make sure it actually works. And we're going to be transplanting this picture tube onto a frame, and we're going to be putting a K7000 on it, which is right there. And we're going to be using this for an arcade monitor transplant. So as you can see, it works just fine, and there's no screen burn. Looks pretty good. So we'll shut it back down. And it's got a dark phosphor, and if you look there, no screen burn to be seen. So let's flip this around and look at the model number here. Okay, so this is model number Foxtrot 25442. And there's the serial number, chassis identification, all that jazz. And the only inputs that this thing has are the good old good old RF. The only inputs to be seen. So, yeah, not sad about sacrificing this TV for anything other than what I'm about to do with it. So it's going to be taken apart, and we're going to transplant it into a frame. I actually have 3 frames right here. I have a Neotech frame and 2 Wells Gardner frames, and as a matter of fact, this frame here is actually a K7000 frame, and it has a K7000 plate on it, so we'll be using that. So this Neotech needs to go over this Wells Gardner. Well, I'm going to set these aside here. There we go. Okay, so we're going to take this apart, and we're going to see if we can get this tube transplanted into this frame, get the K7000 installed, see if we can make some adjustments, and get ourselves a working 25-inch monitor for 60 bucks. Not a bad deal if I say so myself. So these are the 1/4 inch. So just happen to have that at the ready. I got Plinko going on here. All right. Come on, there you. There we go. Okay, what are we looking like back here? One right here. I think that's going to be it. Okay, let's unplug it. And let's see. Yeah, that should be it. Nope, I got one more. You tried to hide it, but I found it. Really? Well, I don't see any more. Huh, what's going on here? Can't seem to get this apart. Loose on the bottom. Are they just stuck together? Or is there a... What is going on here? Oh, well, it helps if you take all the screws out. That might help. I've never seen so many screws in one of these back panels before. Again, amateur channel. Hey, look at that. Hey, it's an RCA tube to boot. Fantastic. For tube information, we have, you know what, this may be the same tube that's in a Henrix Polo. 15X09. I just happen to have a Polo right here. Oh, 15X05. Well, I would have to say that's pretty close. So, yeah, fantastic. It's got a lot of had a lot of life over the years. High usage, pretty dirty and grimy and dingy, but not going to matter because we're not going to be using that. So I don't know if this is auto discharging. So just to be on the safe side, we're going to discharge it. All right, let's grab alligator clip with a screwdriver, clip that on there, clip this onto the ground right here, and then let's just, whoa, it is not auto discharging. Glad I tested it. Snap city. So let's get this off of here and make sure one more time so we're clear, good to go. All right, neck board off. Looks like the ground. So here's the actual, here's the DAG ground connection right here. So we'll have to modify that. No big deal. Okay. I think this has tabs you have to release to slide it out, but we're not worried about sliding it out. We just need to disconnect the DAG ground, the flyback or anode cap. The yoke is connected. Is it not hardwired in, is it? Hope not. Yes, the yoke is hardwired in because the connections are actually here on the yoke. There's horizontal and there's vertical. Just like the Henrix Polo, there's a disconnect on the yoke, so we're probably going to have to wire that in. I have a connector for that, so that won't be a problem. So we've got the DAG ground and the yoke disconnected. Let's make sure that we have all of this stuff unhooked. And here's our degauss cable. Degauss connection. That should be it. Okay, now we're ready to take this tube out of here. And it looks like the screws are 5/16. So let's switch out this 1/4 inch for a 5/16. There we go. Yep. I think based off initial observations here, the yoke is bonded on. There's no convergence rings. This looks eerily similar to a Hanorex Polo in every way, shape, and form. And even the tube is only off by, what, 15x09 versus 15x05. I think this is pretty much the same setup here as a Hanorex Polo, and that's going to be awesome because that pretty much guarantees it'll be compatible with our K7000. Alright, so I've got 2 of these out of here now, so I'm going to actually back this up a bit. Back up off a bit and set my cup down. Dre got some tricks from the city of Compton to serve me. Not with a cherry on top. I got to hit the dope spot. Okay, that's loose, so I gotta hold on to it. Don't want this falling on me and ruining my whole project here. So, all right, I think we are ready to go. We'll angle this backwards and kind of bring it out as one unit. Ta-da! Just that easy. Where's my stool here? Okay. We'll set this like that. All right. And there you have it. One decased picture tube. And, you know, I don't really want to sacrifice anything. I might just keep this like it is, put the back cover on it and set it aside. Because if I ever come across a tube that is beyond rejuvenation or is pretty weak and I don't want to use it for a machine, I could theoretically, or hypothetically, I'm sorry, toss it back in here and at least have a working television because there's no reason to throw this in the garbage if it's working. So I think that's what we'll do is I'll put the case back on here and we'll save this and use it if we ever come across a tube that's unworthy of arcade monitor operation. Alright, so I'll save you the time and trouble of me reassembling all that. Actually, we'll just keep that there for now. I'll put that back together off camera. But for now, we need to grab this frame and install it on this tube. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so let's get... This should just go right on here, like so. this is tougher than I thought. Okay, one more here. Okay, so we'll tighten them up in a moment, but first let's set this like that. And here we go. Just like that. Okay. Now 7/16 is what we need. And we'll use the little ratchet here. So those are already at the bottom. Got it. Okay. All right, there we go. Like it came from the factory. There we go. Okay, now let's flip this around. And we'll have to come up with a way to get this, you know what? I've got a whole container here of various connectors. I just happen to have the right decals connector right here. So we're gonna have to transplant this onto here for these and then come up with a way to hook up the yoke. So let's actually zoom in a bit here and get that done. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do here for this is we're going to just simply cut this right here. And I'll take this and put this over with the assembly it came from. And then we'll take our drop my stuff. All right, so then we'll take our wire strippers here and just kind of strip a little bit away. There we go. And a little bit away. There we go. Now, we take our other connector here that we're going to use for our decals. Let's make sure it connects up properly. Yep. Okay, no doubt. Now, let's go ahead and cut this about right here. Throw that away. Okay. Strip a little bit of this. Like so. And like so. Okay, throw our strip pieces away. What I'm going to be using for this are these solder zaps. They're called solder zaps, what they're referred to. And they basically have an environmental shrink with a little solder in between there. And you put your two wires in there and you shrink this down and the solder acts as a splice. And it's much better and a much more secure connection. Sorry about that. Much more secure connection than just manually soldering it together and using various wire nuts and things like that. So we will put that through about there. Then we will take this side and put it through. Nope, gonna have to use the next size up because this is not going to work. and that's no big deal. We'll just jump up to the red. That'll make this a lot easier. Heck, even the red's a bit too small, but it'll work. Okay, just like that. So now you want to get your BIC 1000, if you have a BIC 1000, or what I prefer is an actual heat gun. So basically, not gun that over. I have this Master Pro Heat gun. This is what I used for work for almost 15 years. You can get them on Amazon. They're expensive. I think this was $250 with all the accoutrement. So these come just like this with no tip on it. The problem with using no tip is you only get heat in one direction. You don't get heat on both sides of the zap. So I prefer to get the actual accoutrement, if you will, accoutrements, however you want to refer to it as, option, and then it's got this piece here where the heat goes through and comes around the opposite direction. So you lay your zap in there and it heats it from both sides simultaneously, and you know that your zap is shrunk down properly when you see the solder become liquid and flow. So yeah, this is what I use. This is how I recommend doing it. So we will zoom back in here, and I set this to about 75% heat, and you just go back and forth until the solder liquefies, and then you're about done. Perfect. Now let's show it close up. Give it about 10 seconds or so to cool down because it's still liquid. Once you're satisfied that it's cooled down, you can see that the solder has liquefied. Maybe you can't, but yep, so we have a nice strong joint, and that's how I recommend doing these. Okay, one more. Okay. Give it, a number of seconds to cool down, and I think that'll work. So there you go. Good repair, good patch, good splice. So now we have a good degauss connection. Now we got to figure out what we're going to do about this yoke connection, because I don't know if I have the right type of connector for that. Like I say, I have this container of connectors here. I have to go through and see if I can hodgepodge something together, because I've got stuff like this for the chassis side of things, but let me go through some stuff and see if I can find something that'll work for that. I may just have to solder the wires directly to these tabs. We have the tabs here. I may just solder the wires directly to the tabs. Probably what I'm going to end up having to do. So let me see if I could find, I need another couple of connectors like this that I can use for that. So let me dig through some stuff and find it. I'll come right back. Okay, so just over here off camera, I have a closet full of parts, chassis, and various other things, and a little basket full of neck boards and connectors and harnesses and stuff that I figured I wouldn't need for a while, but that's why this other container I have of regularly used connectors is readily available, and over here in the closet is all the stuff that I didn't think I would need at any regular interval. So I dug through the parts over here, and I just happened to find a spare parts Henrik's Polo chassis that I had the connector for the main chassis for the yoke still connected to the chassis, and the other end just happened to have the connectors I needed. So I just spliced them onto my Wells Gardner yoke connections, and this should work just fine. So the fat wires are the horizontal, and the skinny wires are the vertical. So you can see here we have the wider connector on the right is horizontal, the narrower one on the left is vertical, and the vertical wires are skinnier compared, or thinner compared to the horizontal, so you really can't mess it up. So if we hook this up to the horizontal pins just like so, and the vertical pins just like so, and we hook these to the chassis, and we'll be good to go. Now, of course, yellow and green are vertical, and red and blue are horizontal. And we can verify that with our multimeter or multimeter if you're from overseas. We'll set this here, and we'll turn the light on. And vertical should be around around 10 ohms, hopefully somewhere. 3.3. That's awful low. I think I may have just jinxed myself. 1.6. So you want the horizontal to be around 2 ohms. So 1.6 is okay, but 3.3 for vertical, that is awful low. You're usually hoping for a reading of around 8 to 10 for a K7000 compatible setup. I mean, this will work, but we may have vertical problems. I think I jinxed myself by, I should not have even measured this. I shouldn't have measured it. You know, just for the heck of it, Diet Coke, let's go look at the actual Hanrex Polo yoke and see what it reads, because I'm curious now if that's also going to read somewhat similar. Okay, so if we disconnect the, I guess I can't disconnect, yeah, I can disconnect it just like so. Let's remember to plug that back in though. So back to ohms, and we get, let's see if I can, does that show up on camera there? Nope. Let's just back out a bit. Okay, let's measure, this is the monitor that's going in another project that I'll show off later, but let's measure the vertical on an actual Polo yoke. See, 5.5. Well, nothing we can do but give it a try. We'll have to find out. I don't want to go through all this and realize it's not going to work. Wouldn't be the end of the world, but let's go ahead and get it all hooked up and just see what happens. It's not going to cause any damage, but I just want to see if we have linearity problems or deflection problems. Well, let's find out. So we can remove the screws here. Come on, you wascally wabbit. Okay. Freshly rebuilt K7000. Let's hook up our yoke connections. If the image is upside down or backwards, we can just flip the connections on the yoke here, flip them around, and that'll fix the upside down or backwards image. So we'll start by hooking this up arbitrarily. Okay, there's vertical, horizontal, degauss, getting a little sparky spark from the anode, so let's discharge it one more time. We don't need the screwdriver for this one. We can just clip onto the ground and just kind of dangle this over. Yep, picked up a little bit more charge out of the air. So that's gone now. So let's hook up our anode. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I don't like that because of all the dust around it. That's better. Okay. We're gonna have to strip this, and we didn't do our ground here. So our ground, we have a ground coming from the frame of the chassis, which needs to connect to the neck board ground, and we also have the ground coming from the tube. So all that has to be connected in one big joint, if you will, all together. So what we're going to do just temporarily, until we verify that this is working or going to work, we're just going to cut this off of here. Save that connector as well. Strip all of this. Hook up our neck board. Actually, you know what, we're going to do this first. We're just going to take all these connections and just kind of twist them all together. Okay, so now we have all the grounds together. Then we're going to hook the neck board up. Okay, then we're going to grab an alligator clip this all together, and then we're going to go straight to the dag wire. Okay, that'll take care of our ground. All right, let's go ahead and put a screw in here so we don't slide out and destroy our chassis. Oh heck, I'm confident. Let's just put both of them in. As I drop the bit. Okay, I'm interested to see what a 3.3 reading for vertical will give us. But there's only one way to find out. So we have anode, neck, yoke is hooked up, ground, remote is connected. We just need power and video. So set our stuff aside. I believe we're all hooked up and ready to go. We can go ahead and reuse these, at least that one. So all right, let's flip this around. And I got a WWF WrestleMania PCB up there hooked up, so let's just go for broke and turn our light off and hook up our video cable and power. And one of these K7000 that I had a cold solder joint causing vertical deflection problems. I hope it's not this one. I got a stack of them in a storage downstairs, so I hope that's not this one. But anyway, okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. Well, that's not good. The isolation transformer is buzzing like crazy. Okay, nothing's wrong with that. We're all hooked up. But when I tried to turn this on, the isolation transformer started buzzing. Why would it do that? Let's try again. Nope, something is bad. What the heck? Well, let me see if I can figure it out. Well, you're not going to believe it, but it was a mistake on my part. If we look at this these two wires right here, there's two white wires. I don't know if you can see these two white wires right here. Those are connected to the degauss coil. And if we look at what I have those connected to, those are going straight to my ground. And the white wire these two white wires right here, that if you look, I'm pulling on it here. Can you see that? Get you in closer here. Okay, see this white wire I'm pulling on? It goes around here to this. This is going to the DAG ground, and if you follow these are going to my degauss coil that I hooked up. So I've got the degauss wires going to the ground connection for the chassis, and the ground for the chassis going to the degauss. So this right here is actually the ground wire. And this over here that I have going to the ground, that I put the alligator clip on, right here, these are degauss wires. So I got the ground and the degauss backwards. So we don't need the degauss to be hooked up for this to work. So we're just going to not hook those up, and we're going to take my ground wire that I had running to the degauss and just use that for the ground. And we're going to have to see if I can come up with some way to do this. Let's see if we can just put that in there. That'll work. Now, of course, I won't be able to do this side. Just for experimentation purposes, we'll put that in there. And this one on this side. That'll work. Okay. And then our degauss wires here, we don't need to have these hooked up to anything. We don't want them to short out though, so we're going to take one of them and tie it into a square knot, like so. So now they're not going to touch each other. And then we'll make sure they don't touch anything else. Let me grab a zip tie. Well, that's why it's the amateur channel. Little mistakes and goof ups like that. I can't believe I did something so stupid. You know, we don't need a zip tie. We'll just put it in here. There we go. That'll work. Okay. So now we're hooked up correctly. Hopefully nothing got damaged. I didn't let it run very long, obviously. So let's get these wires off of the B+ resistor. All right. So let's give this take number 2. Hope that didn't damage anything. Alright, we'll turn our light out again. Set this up. Can't believe I did something so well, amateurish. But we're all human. Well, I am. I don't know about you lizard people out there. Okay, here we go. Take number 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay, comes on. What do we get? Oh, yeah, this is the chassis with the... So I'm going to... Watch what happens. I'm going to push on the chassis and watch what happens. Well... Well, this is the one that has the vertical deflection problem. Gosh dang it. Well, for 2. But when I was... The tube that this one came off of, I was pushing on the chassis and I was getting it to go full deflection. So something is still wrong with this, and I don't know... Well, let me go grab a different one. We're 0 for 2 now. Let me grab a different chassis that I know is good, Like I say, I knew that one of the ones I had on my supply downstairs had a vertical problem, and I didn't think it was this one, but it is. And it's not a broken pot or anything like that, because we'd have complete collapse if I did. Maybe we'll feature this one on another video for the repair, but I swear the last time that I was going through this, I could push on the chassis and it would go full deflection. Well, guess not. Okay, well, let me grab another one and we'll try again for take 3. Well, I decided to go ahead and just take a quick look at this to see if I could figure out what's going on, and I went right to the vertical IC to start doing ring out or continuity, and see if we go to the ground here, continuity there. For this tab here, it goes from here through this pin to here, so that's good, and then it goes from here over to here, which is good. And then we go from here down to here, which is good. Then it goes through up to here, which is good. And then we have, let's get rid of some of this. Then we have this one that goes to here. And then it should go up through to here. Uh-oh, it doesn't. This one goes to here. So from here to here is good. It should have continuity through the joint to here. And it does not. So this little trace right here is broken. It's probably broken right there, so we're gonna have to put a little jumper on there and see if we can get that fixed. I'm gonna grab a component leg, fire up the the soldering station. Okay. Oh, gosh dang it. Sorry about that. My fat feet. I kicked the tripod. Alright, let's grab some solder. Start with that. And we'll put some on here. There we go, and there's probably plenty on this already, but we'll add a little bit more. And then what happened to my jumper that I just set down? There it is. Okay, get back and frame you. Alright, so now we need to go from here to here. Not that one, you dingbat. This one. To here. And let's add a little bit more to this. All right. And then we'll cut that off. Not sure where it went. It went into the abyss, into the nth dimension. And now, if we go from here to here, ta-da! So, not sure how that one little crack happened in the joint, but yeah, let's hook this back up and give that a try. Okay, we're all hooked back up. Hopefully that works this time. Number 3 is the charm, as they say. Shouldn't have any more issues, hopefully. I mean, that should have fixed the vertical problem. I don't know. So let's find out. Attempt number 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it comes on. Hey, well, holy crap. Our flyback is way too high. And down to, let's say, there. Actually, we need to turn our brightness and contrast all the way down. I just realized that by complete fortune, we have everything hooked up properly for not being upside down or backwards. Just random chance on that. Okay, so now with brightness and contrast all the way down, we'll turn up our flyback until we get our raster lines back down till they just go away. So there's where our screen pot needs to stay. Black level up until our background is not black, and then back down until it is black, which is right there. Contrast we'll put right there. H position. And it looks like our width is, looks like our horizontal width is set pretty good. Vertical, now here's the test, vertical size, because I'm concerned that 3.3 will be too low to have a full height here. So let's find out. Vertical size. Yes! Perfect. All right, we're a little bit too dark. Let's bring up brightness a little bit. Ah, outstanding. Even our colors are good. But I've got all the color pots set to center, I'm pretty sure. A couple of them are off to the side, but close enough. Man, we're a little bit too bright, but that's fine. Yeah, it's way too bright, but that's okay. Actually, we can turn the brightness back down a little bit. We'll go right there, turn contrast up slightly. I think that'll work. For some reason, the camera isn't doing this justice. In person, this looks fantastic. The camera, if anything, it's too tall. And yeah, look at that. Our width is perfect. We're evenly spaced. Wow. Okay. Look at how clear this is. Crystal clear. Man. Look at that. That is unbelievable. Brand new K7000, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing. Now, of course, I guess since this works, you could theoretically, or hypothetically, I did that again, hypothetically, it's not actually a theory until you prove the hypothesis. You could use a K7000, Hanrex Polo, U2000, U5000 on standard res only, K7400, the WiiYa Universal chassis. Your options are Neotech 2500, Neotech 2515C. Your options are pretty much going to be unlimited. Your options are going to be unlimited using this tube and yoke combo, because if it's compatible with the K7000, it's compatible with any of those chassis. So, man. Now, of course, take that with a grain of salt, because I've only been running this for 5 minutes, if that. I don't understand. In person, this is all purple, deep purple. See how purple this is, and then this looks blue? This is deep purple, and all this is deep purple as well. Smoke on the water. But in the camera viewfinder, it looks more blue than purple. Now, I don't know if it's going to come through as purple in the video, but in person, this is perfect, absolutely gorgeous. Across the board, perfect colors and everything. Screen size, position, shape. No, it doesn't appear to have any linearity problems, horizontal or vertical. This turned out better than I could have possibly imagined. But in the viewfinder, the colors look different or off. But anyway, hopefully in the video it actually comes out correct. If not, just take my word for it. This is fantastic. So I guess, that's it. This is fantastic. Let's take a look at the setup here. There you have it. So K7000 on a RCA tube, came out of a commercial television setup, which of course all these tubes are the same thing, but okay, that's pretty perfect right there for brightness settings and stuff. Man, I just can't get over this. Brand new K7000 for 60 bucks. You can't beat that. I guess you could. I could have used the other tubes that no one contacted me back on, the free one and the $10 one, but who knows if they're any good. Dang, I just can't get over it. So, yeah, here we are. Sorry about all of the amateur stuff with the mix-up on the wires and grabbing a chassis that didn't work off the bat, having to fix it on the fly here, but we accomplished it, got everything adjusted, looks great, can't believe it. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something. Like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next time.